Hey everyone, today we're solving search from HackTheBox, a hard-rated Windows machine. So I've gone ahead and ran RusScan. We can see here we have a TCP and UDP scan. They tend to give back the same sort of ports, but it's always important to run both to see you're covering all bases. We'll go ahead and start from the TCP scan since they tend to be the main ports. So just based on the port numbers alone, we can see here we have DNS open, SMB, web server, Kerberos, more SMB, and bits pieces, some LDAP in there, HTTPS, and that kind of thing. Let's go ahead and look at the actual port descriptions. Cool, so like I said, we have R53 for DNS, we have HTTP, 88 for Kerberos, references to Microsoft, so it's basing web server it's running, SMB stuff. We have some domain information. Right off the bat, we can tell this is an Active Directory machine, or more specifically, or most likely, a domain controller. The fact that we have like Kerberos and stuff like that open is a clear indicator of that kind of thing. LDAP as well, which we can use to enumerate like basically objects within the Active Directory, and that kind of thing. Go ahead and just scroll through. Anything else interesting? Not really. Yep, LDAP. We have like LDAP S here, like the secure version, I think that is. And yeah. Okay, cool. So nothing really crazy. We'll go ahead and start from the top. So we have a, we'll skip DNS for the moment. We'll look straight at the web server. Go ahead and run my enumeration script here. So just going ahead and run GoBuster. We'll go ahead and run. We can see here that we have just information here for what web. So basically it's running ASP.NET, which makes sense since it is, of course, Windows box. We have iOS 10, jQuery, and nothing else really that interesting. Okay, cool. Let's now go ahead and look at the web server. Go ahead and put Firefox. Okay, cool. Search for HTTP. Okay, cool. So here we're on the website. So we'll go ahead and have a little browse through what's what. Just we have a few images and some moving stuff. We have a list of team members. Now, one thing that's important to think about when you're testing an Active Directory box, and more specifically in this case, is the kind of attacks you're going to have based on the things that are open. So, for example, Kerberos within an AD machine, or Kerberos in general, has got it's not a vulnerability as it's kind of part of the design, but basically you can do what's called username enumeration. So we have a bunch of usernames here, and we could potentially use those in username enumeration, effectively just to find out what users are on the system and that kind of thing. And that can sometimes lead us to an entry point or a foothold. Go ahead and scroll down a little bit more. We have a portfolio, some services, nothing too crazy. It was important to just look through pages, whether it's a CTF or an actual real machine, just for any like actual hints or any like things that might give you like a foothold, or it's all about OSINT and that kind of thing. Nothing really crazy here. All very lorem ipsum stuff, very, very normal. We have a domain at search.htb. That appears to be it. Okay, cool. So let's go ahead and now use those usernames that we saw earlier. So we have team here. So I want to go ahead and basically pull down all of these names and see if we can use those in what's called effectively a Kerberos attack, which will basically find out if a user exists or not on the system. We'll go ahead and take these now. We'll go ahead and open up code in the current directory, just to basically post it in there. So we'll go ahead and open up this. Oh, this is some cache stuff from my previous review. Go ahead and just delete this. And paste this in here. Okay, cool. So let's go ahead and basically trim this down. So there's a few ways we can do this. In my case, I'm just going to go ahead and use some regex to do the work for me. So I can go ahead and do Control H and basically use some regex to basically pull down the new line at the end of the word image, the whole word of image, the new line here, and the new line there, and then all the string prior to that. Go ahead and do that, and then we should then have basically all of the usernames. And then we can go ahead and then replace the space with a period like that. So, and then also we can then add in, say, the new line at the end. We can replace that with we can place a new line at the end if it wants to. Yeah, cool. Go ahead and remove this. The new line at the end with at search whatever. So you like at search.htb, like so. I don't think we actually need to do that actually, so I'm going to go ahead and actually just leave that step as it is. Cool. Let's go ahead and use this now. We can actually remove product manager. Actually, I realize that isn't part of it. Cool. Go ahead and save this as names. Don't know why it's saved as a markup. That's okay though, cool. We're going to want to go ahead now and find locate, so I'm going to go ahead and locate kerberos. I have an example here in my tooling. I'm just going to go ahead and just use this one directly. So I'm going to go user enum. I think that's the command. The names file, so names, and then D for the domain, so search, and then the actual domain, the DC IP. So we can choose search again here. DC search HTTP. We'll go ahead and just Control L here, and go ahead and just kill this terminal so we have a full screen. Go ahead and hit enter, and we have 3 available users. Cool. Now that we know that we're onto a good path, what we can do in addition to this is we can also use get MP users as well. So this will basically do the same as kerberos did, except it will try and find effectively kerberosable users. There we go, cool. If it runs through, we're getting an error of names. Oh, it's because this is from me thing I ran before. Should now work. Basically, it will tell us if any of these user accounts have got pre-auth enabled, which will basically allow us to dump the hash. In this case, that doesn't work, as they don't have pre-auth enabled, and therefore we can't steal the hash. So I spent a little bit of time messing around here, but it turns out the answer is actually almost in the page itself. So if you go ahead and scroll to the top here, and again, like I said, this is why it's important to look at all the images and stuff. We look here, we have an image which actually looks kind of looks stocky, but it is genuinely like important. If we scroll in here, you can see here we have something a bit interesting actually. We have a send password to Hope Sharp. I'm not sure if you can see that, but it says Hope Sharp. Let's go ahead and add Hope Sharp into our list and just see what happens. We'll go ahead and add it in here. Hope.sharp start sharp. We'll go ahead and hit save, and we'll go ahead and just run the kerberos command again, just because it's a little bit cleaner. And we can see here we have a Hope Sharp user. Sweet. So what that tells us basically is that Hope Sharp is a legitimate user. Now, I believe that we have an isolationist key. That basically says that the password to the Hope Sharp is isolationist key. We'll go ahead and note that down. Mousepad. Isolation is key, question mark. Cool. We'll go ahead and just come out of Hope Sharp. Cool. So we have a reference to that later. Go ahead and copy this now. If it lets you want to copy, cool. And I'm going to go ahead and just minimize everything to get out of the way. Cool. We'll go ahead and now use CrackMap, because I like CrackMap and it's just really helpful. We'll go ahead and just change this to be the password. Position is key, and then we have, of course, Hope Sharp. Like so. See here we have a valid user connection, and then in addition to that we also have the shares. Cool, so from here we can see we have the admin share, cert enroll, net login, and that kind of thing. This one is interesting because we have the read and write access to this directory. Usually I would go ahead and look at all these file shares, but there's quite a little bit of file share review later on, so I want to leave that for now. But just in terms of testing, go ahead and look at the shares in prompt you can read, trying to see what you can upload here since we have write access and that kind of thing. So the next part to this really is a case of looking at, okay, so what do we actually have? Now I find this website really helpful, and it's a little bit cheatsy in the sense of it kind of does my job for me, but it's really helpful. So it says here, what do you have? I'll link this in the description, so wadcoms.github.io. Basically, we say what we have, and it will tell us what we can do. So we go ahead and say, yeah, we have a username and we have a password, and it'll tell us what we can do. And it's important to know what all these things do. But in my case, all I'm really interested in is the get user SPN. So user SPN, so it should be in there somewhere. SPN, yeah. So Python 3 get SPN. So we'll go ahead and use this. What this will do basically is it will use our authenticated session to go ahead and try and find out if we have any service principal names available. And off the back of that, we may get a hash. I'll go ahead and add in the domain here. So search.htp. Go ahead and add in the password for hope.sharp. Go ahead and add in her password. Isolation is key, question mark. And then go ahead and update go ahead and just wrap this in in quotes just so it doesn't mess up. We'll go ahead and update this to be 10, I think it's 11, 129. I need to go ahead and just get my in-packets actual version to work. There we go, cool. Cool, and now we have a hash. So basically what that's done, it has given us the kerberos hash for this service account, or the service principal name. Sweet. We'll go ahead and save this hash to a file, nano hash. Cool, that should be fine. Now what we're going to go ahead and do is we're going to go ahead and count the hash and see what we have there. I'm going to go ahead and just minimize everything again. Cool. I'm going to go ahead and take this string here, like so. I'm then going to go ahead and do hashcat dash examples and grab. I actually have this in my history, so that's why it appears this way. I'm going to go ahead and just paste this in here. Cool. And here we have a basically a legitimate hash. Like this is basically giving us like, okay, this is the hash you can use. Like this is an example of the hash. And in my case, I want to go ahead and find out what the mode is. I want to go ahead and add in A5 and A and B5 just so we can see what mode it is. So it says here mode 13,100 for it's a kerberos type 5 hash, type 23 TGS REP, which is great. We go ahead and now run that through. I think it was 13,100, 13,100, then the hash itself, and then the users file. Go ahead actually and just pull down my history. There we go, cool. So I'm going to go ahead and just use this, just get it a bit cleaner. I realized I'd use capital M and thought it'd be quicker to see that. Cool, so we're going to go ahead and pass it into rock queue. That shouldn't take a second to go ahead and crack. Now, one other very interesting point here is we have a hash to a user, but we don't actually know what user it applies to. So maybe there's an alternate way to do this, but the way I did it basically is to just find out all the available user accounts and then basically try and brute force it across that. It didn't take too long. So here we have the password of @1,000,000baby. I'm going to go ahead and copy this, put it into mousepad. Cool. So now we have that, we can go ahead and now try and use that to what's called password spray, and basically password spray that password against all the user accounts we know of. Now we know of a number of user accounts. If we go into the kerb root we used before, we know of like 4 different user accounts, but we can get more than that. Now, how do we do that? Well, we want to go ahead and use SMB client basically to go ahead and do that. We want to go ahead and basically log in as our user account we have before, which is hope.shop. If I can spell right. Cool, go ahead and run that. You can go ahead and give her password, which is isolation is key ? Cool, and now we're in. Now we have access to all these accounts. Well, the directories at least. Now I'm going to go ahead and just copy these, like so. I'm going to go ahead and put them into here. New names 2. Go ahead and paste them in there, which is great. Go ahead and add in that there. Cool. So I'm going to go ahead and now go to exit out of here. You go ahead and cat names 2. We'll go ahead and then basically take the awk as in the first line. Go ahead and wrap it in this, which will basically take the first column, $1, and that will give us all the names. Sweet. We'll go ahead and then pass enter n, and then we'll go ahead and move n to be names 2. And then now go cat names 2. And now we have all of those, which is great. Cool. So now if we go ahead and run the kerb root again, but we'll change this from names.md to be names 2, we can see there's a bunch of users. But what we really care about is using this in crack map. So I'm going to go ahead and now run crack map to basically just basically go ahead and brute force the password we just found against the machine. I'm going to go ahead and run it like this. So I'm actually going to add in the shares here. So what it will do in this case is, if we do get a valid user account, it will dump the shares. I'll go ahead and hit run. This will be a little bit noisy, but you'll see here we have an actual option here. We have Edgar Jacobs, and basically we can see the shares, which means this is a valid user account. We can now go ahead and remove the shares. Now go ahead and remove this part here. So like so, go ahead and then take in Edgar.Jacobs. Go ahead and hit paste. Now go like that. And now we have access to that account. We can see here it was working. If we go ahead and add in a Z at the end here, you see that it doesn't work. So that shows that it actually genuinely works. And also we could do like say X to make like run a command like who am I, for example. This may or may not work, depends on how it's configured. In this case it didn't work as we didn't get any output. If it did work, we would have got like say an additional line here saying who the current user is. As this user was part of the SMB share, I'm going to go ahead and now look at what was inside their SMB share. We can now go ahead and just use the same command we used before, except we're going to use aggregate this time, and just simply go SMB client, add Jacobs, out here, and then the redirected folders. And we use redirected folders because this is basically the C directory. We'll go ahead and hit run here. We'll go ahead and log in with our password, which is 1 million, baby. Now we're logged in. We'll go to dir. We'll log into. We will go into the aggregate directory. Cool. ls. We have a bunch of stuff in here. I'm going to go cd into the desktop. And we have a phishing attempt.xlsx. I'm interested in this, so I'm going to go ahead and grab it. Cool. I'll go ahead and open up a new terminal here and just check that it has been downloaded. Cool. That didn't actually work for some reason. I must have misclicked. Yep, we can see it's in here. We'll go ahead and hit file. And we can see here that it's a genuine file. Cool. Sweet. Go ahead and cd out of here. If I can type properly. Go ahead and make this smaller. Cool. CD into documents, because you obviously want to be thorough and make sure you're getting everything. Yep, cool, fine. Didn't need to do that. Can I do this? No, apparently not. CD users. Where am I? Okay, that's fine. I'd go. CD into downloads, I think it was. Yeah, downloads. Cool, and that is empty. Cool. So we can exit out of here. Fine. So, exit out of here too. So, the next step we want to do is basically go ahead and look at the file. Now, the way that Microsoft files are put together, at least the Office files, and I think I mentioned this in the previous video, is they're all like zips, basically. So if we go ahead and do file, as I did before, I did on my previous one, phishing attempt, we see it's an Excel file. But how does it know it's an Excel file? Well, basically, file has got some interesting ways to determine like what a file actually is. But if we go ahead and look at the phishing attempt here, we can see there's much stuff in here, but additionally, we can see that right at the top we have a PK. See, we have PK, and this is where the file's put together. This is like a magic value that says, I am a zip, or I am a this. You know, for example, like a JPEG might be Yoya, or is that a GIF? No, a GIF is GIF, whereas I think a JPEG is like Yoya, or is that PNG? I can't remember, but basically you have like different like file signatures, and that reflects basically what a file may be, just to help the system know what stuff is. So I'm going to go ahead and then run PK signature. And what this will tell us basically is that it is a zipped v. Now I can look for PK. You can see here PK is zip file format and formats based on such as yada yada yada. I think this is how it was put together. Yeah, Office Open XML. We'll go ahead and now run that through. So we now go ahead and unzip it, or as I prefer, because sometimes you're going to have like cases where like there's some like forensics in there. We're going to use binwalk on the file. This will just tell us basically what's in there. This all looks very normal. I'm going to go ahead and add in the -e, which will basically extract it. If we now do ls, we now have this extracted. Sweet. What opens up in code? I think we already have it here. Yep, so yeah, phishing attempt. We have a bunch of files basically in here. All interesting stuff. Now if we look around here, we can just basically poke around. We can see here we have a shared strings. I'm going to go ahead and go to view, go to word wrap, and we have what looks like some interesting stuff. I want to go ahead and just make it a little bit easier. I'm going to go ahead and replace all of the right angle brackets with a right angle bracket and a new line, just to basically see a little bit easier as to what we're looking at. We have a first name, last name, password, some actual usernames. Let's go down to some more. We have a captured password, so this is actually capturing passwords. And then we also on top of that, we also have some passwords as well. Sweet. Now, in most cases, I would go ahead and basically extract all the usernames and all the passwords. But since we have a bunch of usernames, as you can see probably up here somewhere, we basically have a bunch of usernames. I'm not going to do that because I already have a list of the majority of the available users. So what I care about more so is basically taking out all the passwords. I can go ahead and just copy all the passwords here. Looks okay to me. Capture passwords. We'll go ahead and paste it here. So now we have only the passwords, or at least the majority of the passwords. I'm now going to go ahead and remove all this stuff basically. You can basically go ahead and highlight and do Control D and delete all that. We can delete this too. Looks okay to me. I'm going to go ahead and replace these amps here with an and sign, just to make sure in case the passwords actually mean something. We'll go ahead and remove that. And we'll go ahead and remove this bit here. Like so. Cool, looks good to me. I'll go ahead and hit save. And then we'll go ahead and basically remove the double new lines like this. And we'll replace it with just one new line. Like so. And then we have it all together. Sweet. Now we're going to go ahead and basically do the same as we did before with the crack map. And we're going to go ahead and replace this time with this. We're going to change this to the actually don't have a name for this file, so we need to go ahead and save it as, actually it's called this, so we'll go ahead and actually just copy this. We'll create a new file, we'll call it pwoods, drop that in there, pwoods. We'll go ahead and remove the who am I part of there. And the shares again. I like shares because basically, if it works, you'll get the output, most likely. I forgot to update the users. I actually need to go ahead and just change this to be the, I think it was names too. Yeah, that's now going to go through. Basically run for the usernames we have and the passwords we have. And we should hopefully get hit in a second. Just slowly going through all the accounts. Oh, we have a slight delay. Boom, we have an account and we have some enumerated shares. Sweet, so now we have this, which is excellent. Didn't think this actually be a valid password when I first did this box, but you know how it is. Passwords always look how they seem. Now we have this user account, we want to go ahead and just use it again in our SMB, because as I mentioned before, there's quite a bit of SMB stuff involved here. We'll go ahead and just copy the password. Put this out of the way, SMB client, that should be okay. Maybe I should have copied the actual name. That name is Sierra.fry. Enter. Password. Boom. We got we failed. Did I even spell that right? I have no idea. Sierra.fry. Sierra.fry. Maybe I just pasted the password wrong. Maybe I just got it. Maybe it has a space at the end. We'll try that. And we're in. Cool. It was the space. Cool. So we'll go ahead and hit bunch of user accounts. We want Sierra one. Cool. We're in here. As user.txt, we'll get that because why not? Sweet. And we want to go into desktop. We have another user.txt. Don't know if there's a difference, or I don't know. I'm going to leave it for a moment. We'll go into documents. There again, nothing in here. CD into downloads. We have a backups folder. CD backups. And we have two files here. I'm going to go ahead and get them. Get. Grab this. Boom. And we'll grab this. Sweet. So now if we go ahead and switch terminal, when we do ls, we should now have the staff.pfx and the search-research.ca. Cool. So when I did this box initially, I got a little bit stuck as to what it's supposed to do with the pfx. In the end, the solution was to basically have to do a bunch of messing around stuff. It isn't, well, at least not as well. This didn't work. In the end, I managed to find it. I mean, annoyingly, it was like just not. It just never gave me what I was actually after, but I managed to find basically like a tool that does the work for you. I mean, even typing in like crack P12 doesn't give you what you're after. So I actually this is why it took me so long to actually find it. Turns out if you just remove the space, you actually get what you're after, which is annoying because like I would have found this way sooner if I just removed the goddamn space. But it is what it is. Cool. All right, so we'll go ahead and grab this. I'll go ahead and git clone it. Sweet, that's now installed. CD into P12 tool. And there's a command on the website, basically says, we need to run this basically. It's written in Go, so you have to like run it with the Go interpreter. Cool, minimize, no, I didn't do that. Minimize everything else. Cool. So the password.txt will be user share word lists, rock you. Cool. And then the pfx file which we'll just get from here. Can't actually remember what it's called. Oh, we're in the wrong directory, that's why. P12. Cool. Nope, that's not what I wanted. .p12. Cool. God damn it. What is it called? Staff.pfx. Okay, cool. I remember it's actually not called. That's called staff.pfx. That's what we're after. Cool. So, we have obviously messed something up. We go ahead and just check this is right. So -c pfx-f-password. I deleted the -f. That's why. Cool. Now that will go ahead and do its thing. Now this took about 40 minutes for me to do. So I'm not going to make you watch that. I'm going to just show you my cherry tree. And you can see here, basically it started running at 2:45, 5:02, sorry, and it finished at 5:45. So yeah, cool. And the password was Missy Pissy, which is great. Cool. So I'm gonna go ahead and add that into my thingy. Usually I would just, record it, but it's 45 minutes of me recording it for it to just go, it's done. So can't be bothered with that. We will listen. We will just miss out. I think it was like Missy Pissy, right? Something like that. I actually don't remember. Miss Pissy. Okay, cool. Not Missy Pissy. Cool. Miss Pissy. Just check it's right. Miss Pissy. Cool. Sounds good. All right, sweet. So now we have a password. Now the reason we need the password, and I also forgot to mention the step in here as well. The reason we need the password is because let's go ahead and new terminal here. xdg-open. Basically, we need the password to access those certificate files. I didn't show that, but basically, we need a password. So drop this in here, unlock it, boom, we have access to this stuff here. Basically, what this means is it gives us access to, we can basically use it as an authentication. So I ran my GoBuster earlier. I'm not sure if I actually ever found it, but basically, inside the GoBuster, it did output, there's a staff directory, like so. I can even type correctly. And that basically requires you to issue a certificate, which is the certificate I currently have enabled, which is what we did before. I'm going to go ahead and cancel on that just because I need to go ahead and just for the sake of teaching, I'm going to go ahead and just remove my certificate. I completely forgot, so I'm sorry about that. View certificates, go to your certificates, go ahead and just delete this one. Yes, delete, and then we'll go ahead and import the one that we this one here. Go ahead and drop it in there, cool, and run it through, sweet. So now if we go ahead and refresh here, it's probably not going to work because basically it will have had us like cached to use that certificate. I'm going to go ahead and just open up a private window, and we'll go ahead and just run that through, and it should then ask us for the certificate, or maybe not. So I had to reboot and stuff for my certificate to get taken, but basically I had the certificate imported in here, as I said before, and basically then I rebooted, and then it decided to work. Basically what it does is it just sends this stuff in here when you submit the request. Go ahead and hit OK, and then it should then allow us to authenticate to the application, and here we go. So basically without this certificate we can't access the application like this. With the certificate we can, which is sweet. Cool, so we have a Windows PowerShell web access. Cool. It wants our username and password. I'm going to go ahead and use this Sierra one that we just got. Sierra. Since I restarted my computer, by the way, well, my Kali more like, I might have lost like some of the terminal bits, so just bear with me on that one if I ever lost anything we need to, so apologies. Just, yeah, stuff happens. So we know the computer name. Now, a few ways we can find this out. For example, we could do like, say, enum for Linux or whatever. The box should be, yeah, cool. Really, what we're looking for in this case is the name of the box. I think if I look in the nmap scan, it's in there. But basically, the name of the box is research. Wherever the thing is, research. Go ahead and set passes in here. Cool. And we have access to a remote shell, or a remote PowerShell web thingy. So the first thing I did when I started to get access to this, I was like, okay, so what can we actually do? So it works okay, it works pretty nicely. We have the ability to say, do who am I, once I actually submit. We have the ability to, basically just do all the bits and pieces we want to. I tried to get a reverse shell, but it didn't want to work. Basically, the antivirus is getting in the way. We'll go ahead and just run that through now, how you would approach that, had you not like had the antivirus not got in the way, but we'll go ahead and do it anyway, just so we have a evidence of how to do it, and maybe if you have a machine in future that will just work, then great. I also practice about who am I, prove wrong, so that's okay, fine. So I'm going to go ahead and locate invoke PowerShell. Probably to invoke P. Invoke, trying to, yeah, this is so locate. Yeah, so I want to go ahead and grab this one out here, cp into the current directory, and we'll go ahead and modify it as well. Basically to update with the current, with my current thingy, with my current IP. So ton 0, we're on 10.10.14.4. We'll go to the bottom here, 10.10.14.4. We'll hit save. We'll go ahead and do pweb. Yeah, that should be okay because we're going to IX it. We'll go ahead and do this. Usually I would do this one, pweb encode, which basically encodes it, but I'm not going to do that at this moment, so I'm just going to stick with the normal, just a little bit cleaner in this sense. Cool. We'll go ahead and do shells 1 through 7, and we'll go ahead and then run this through here like so. Just ignore that. For some reason my Kali connects to itself. I don't know why it does that. Anyways, so we'll go ahead and drop this in here like so. Hit submit. And we should have a request made here. It might take a second for... I'm going to get rid of this one, it's getting in the way. Close. It's running. Yeah, we have a request here, but we don't have any reverse shell come through, which is annoying, but it is what it is. Go ahead to see what's happening here. Basically, the script contains malicious content that's been blocked by AV software. Cool. So it's not going to work too amazingly, but there's a few ways we can get around it. I personally am okay with just this though for the moment. Like I managed to solve the box just in this little PowerShell terminal thingy, and I'm not going to worry too much about the lack of reverse shell. It's no big deal really. We're okay how we are. Okay. So we'll go ahead and just do like a do a dir, see where we are. We'll go and cd backend directory. Nothing in here. We have a user here called BIR-ADFS-GMSA $. Now, one interesting here is GMSA is like the group management security account or something like that. I actually can't remember what it stands for. GMSA Windows. The group managed service accounts, yeah, close enough. Basically, it allows you to, well, like manage the password, like locally. So like basically, the Windows itself can manage the user account. It just helps with like offline stuff. At least I think that's how it works. In this case, we can use what's called like ReadGMSAPassword, but that's a little bit later on in the thing. We're gonna actually do the recon to get to that point. Anyway, so we have a GMSA user, and that's all that it really gives you. So I'm gonna go ahead back over to where I was. So I'm gonna go back to my home, and we're gonna go ahead and run bloodhound. Now, when I ran bloodhound originally, it didn't work because basically the actual bloodhound PS1, the sharphound ingester, just wasn't working. We'll go ahead and run that through anyway, just so we can go ahead and see it. Sharphound should have it in here. Sharphound. Sharp. Okay, never mind then. Locate. Sharphound. Cool. That is the exe version, not the one I wanted. I'll go ahead and try and find it from PuckyStyle. So PuckyStyle basically, Pucky should have it in here. Never mind them. PuckyStyle sharphound. Basically, this person has a sharphound PS1. I want to get it. We'll go ahead and grab it. Go here. We'll get it. Turns out it's literally in my history. How fantastic. Minimize other windows. Cool. We'll go ahead and then go ahead and refresh this. I'm going to go pweb download. Actually, no, we can do pweb invoke. Actually, that's okay. Pweb, we want to go ahead and then invoke the... and I'd be surprised if this works as well, because it didn't work for me when I tried to do it, but we'll find out anyways. We'll go ahead and run sharphound. Didn't mean to click that. Copy, selection, go into here. reason I have a new Firefox, I don't know why. Yeah. Research, hit save, submit, and we should then have a request made to our web server. Indeed we do, and then we should then get an error saying, you know, security, yada yada yada, it's not gonna work. Yep, so here we have like a malicious content, basically doesn't want to work. And this is about the stealthiest way to do it. Using IEX, it puts it in memory and doesn't put it on disk. There are other ways you could do it, you know, you could like obfuscate sharphound or whatever. Personally, I just opted for the EXE version. The easiest way, in my opinion, for that, for getting the EXE version was simply just to basically just run it via the SMB share. So what we'll do is go to SMB server, go ahead and just make a directory called Pwning. We will move the we're going to go ahead and then locate sharphound. Go ahead and take this. We'll go ahead and cp sharphound into Pwning. We'll see ourselves and that shit's okay. And then we'll go to SMB server. And then we'll basically just go ahead and run the SMB. We'll go ahead and run bloodhound, the bloodhound ingester over the actual SMB share. I think we can do this simply by doing $101014 4 /pwn / bloodhound.exe sharphound.exe. I think that's how you can probably run it. Well, no, because see, we've got a connection here from the user. That means it made a connection, and then we should get some output saying like, oh, like it's doing some bloodhoundy stuff. Once we get that, I'm going to go ahead and load the bloodhound. We'll go ahead and open the terminal. That looks like it's doing it through. We'll go ahead and call this blood. I've lost the colors because I just haven't added them back here. Okay, it didn't like that. That's okay. For some reason this didn't actually work. Not actually sure why, but that's okay. We'll go ahead and try this method. Maybe this will be the better one. Although I'm not actually sure. I mean, this doesn't like bypass any like actual AV, but maybe it will work. We'll find out. Okay, it's because we can't. Okay, yeah, it's fine. I'm gonna try this way. Maybe you just need to exe it and do it that way. I need to try it like this. I think I just tried this actually a second ago. Okay, it's fine. I'm gonna go ahead and basically just 10.10.14.4. What did I do differently? This was throwing an error at me. What have I changed? 10.10.4 Pwning sharphound exe 10.10.4 Pwning. I don't even know what the difference between those two is, but apparently there's a difference. Cool. That's fine. We'll go ahead and just basically we'll use pweb to get sharphound Pwning. We'll use pweb to get sharphound onto there. But where did it go? I'm very confused. Where's my actual sharphound disappear to? I swear I moved it in there. Apparently not. I don't even know where it went. Weird. Okay, that's fine. I'll just copy it back into it. Maybe I'm just being blind, but I can't see right now. I'm just going to copy it into here. That's fine. We'll go ahead and then just pweb it. Should be in here. Cool. We'll go ahead and basically just download it. I want to do the pweb. I actually just remember doing it a different way. I remember doing it like a completely different way. Like, and I don't remember throwing errors at me and stuff like this, but it's okay. We'll work around it. In case it's writing it to disk, which is, like I say, less stealthy, but it is what it is. Yeah, it's in there. Cool. And then we can maybe hopefully run it sharphound.exe. Need to do like this. Okay, that's fine. I'm just gonna download the latest sharphound, and that might be the solution. I did actually delete my thing before, so maybe that's why it just hasn't worked. Maybe it's in here. We'll see. We'll go ahead and open up here. I should have an exe in here. Like this actually worked like recently, so it should work. Did that even download? I Hello? Yeah. Yeah, I'll go ahead, we'll just take this and hopefully it will give us what we're after, which is annoying that it isn't, but whatever. xtg-open. Cool. We'll go ahead and then drop the exe into here. This one's got a capital S, so that's the difference. We'll go ahead and now run through what we ran before. I'm going to try it doing it via SMB next if it doesn't want to work, but it's fine. Oh, I realize it's still got the same name, hasn't it? Never mind. Sharphound. Are you going to work this time? We haven't got an error. Maybe it's my old version of Sharphound. When I deleted my previous exe to avoid, like, you know, hitting duplications during the video, maybe I deleted the new version and this new version bypasses AV for whatever reason. I'm not sure, but look, this is working now, which is the main point, so that's sweet, cool. So now we can get back over to Bloodhound. I'm going to go ahead and do minimizable windows. We want to go ahead and do sudo neo4j start, I think the command is. Looks to be, maybe, yeah, cool. And then we want to go ahead and then go locate Bloodhound. I think it's on my desktop actually, because I had to do some messing around. Basically, my Bloodhound wasn't working, so I had to like fiddle with it a little bit. Yep, cool. CD Bloodhound. I think it's like no sandbox. That's what I did before. I can't remember. Let's try that. Cool, that has loaded up, and Neo4j should authenticate, cool. And we should also have this run almost done. Okay, cool, let's go ahead and we'll leave that for the moment. Well, it does its thing. Cool, alright, see, that's now done. So if we now do dir, we can now see we have the Bloodhound in here. But now go ahead and copy this to our SMB share. Go copy. This basically we'll just put it in our clipboard. Go to SMB server. Yep, cool, that will do. Then we'll go ahead and then do copy. I think you can just use CP, but because we're using PowerShell, I'm going to use copy item. This to the share, so 10, 10, 14 for /pwn. That should work. Yep, looks to have worked. Yeah, we got a bunch of stuff here. We now do cd into pwn. You can see here we have the Bloodhound. Cool. So we'll go ahead and basically just drop that into our Bloodhound. Yeah. Try and actually get it. Cool. Go ahead and drop that into our Bloodhound. Cool. And that's now going to upload. See it doing its thing. Cool. Sweet. So go ahead and refresh the database. Let me go ahead and actually just completely clear the database. I realized I had a previous session in here, so let's go ahead and just clear the database. We'll go ahead and just, yep, cool, clear sessions, yep, cool. And we'll go ahead and just drop this in again, cool. So that should be good now. Refresh. Cool, now we have a bunch of stuff. Okay, so let's go ahead and look at the Bloodhound. Whenever I'm doing like a Bloodhound analysis, I tend to start from like the end point and go backwards. So first one, I'm going to look at basically all the domain admins, which tells us basically the end goal. Okay, so we have here the domain admins. We have two users. We have the Tristan.Davies user, and we have the administrator. These are all domain admins, which is great. Cool. Now we want to go ahead and look at what users we already have. So we have Sierra. We want to go ahead and say we own Sierra. We want to go to user as owned. Cool. And we want to go to I think shortest path to here. Shortest path. Okay, not that one. Go for it. We want to go back over to the domain admins, so we can see what they are. We want to scroll down to shortest path, we're going to go to shortest paths from owned principals. We'll go ahead and hit here. And this is annoyingly simple in the sense of it just tells you what to do. Usually it's more complicated, but you know, like, hey, it's it's just how it's put together. It's quite a simple attack map. And really we have our Sierra user, which is a member of the Birmingham IT security group, which is a member of the IT security group within the domain. And the IT security group has ReadGMSAPassword permissions, as in like rights, outbound object control, over the BIRF, as in I guess like Birmingham GMSA user, which has generic all access over Tristan.Davies, which is a member of the administrators. And the administrators are domain admins, which is great. We can probably see it somewhere in here. Direct members of the domain admins, probably this one here. Yeah, so, yeah. Domain admins, cool, sweet. So, I'm going to go ahead and just back out here. We want to go ahead and start from the beginning again, so we want to go to shortest paths from owned principals. Go ahead here, and we'll start from our user. So our user, Sierra, which we have access to, which you can see here. Who am I? Has access to, is a member of Birmingham ITsec, which is a member of the ITsec, which means you can, you've got really two things you can do here. We can just remote in, which doesn't give us any additional access, or we can read the GMSA password of this user. Now, let's go ahead and we can right click here and go to help and go to abuse info. And if we look through here, it basically gives us a run through as to how to do it. I personally don't really like this method. I like using the Mica version, Mica GMSA dumper. And this is basically, you just pass this against the endpoint and it gives you basically the GMSA password, which is great. And this person here is a HackTheBox person, so yeah, cool. Sweet, so we'll go ahead and follow this through. That's not even what I copied. Copy. Sweet, minimize. Didn't mean to click that one, minimize the rest. Cool, domain.local will be box. Cool. Password is that long one, and the user is Sierra. Go ahead, give Sierra.fry. And then the password is that long password that's just effort. Passes in here. We're getting an error because GMSA dumper doesn't currently exist. We're probably not in directory. Have I got this specifically? Cool. Locate GMSA dumper. It's not even what I locate. Again, copy, locate, paste. Cool. We have this on here. We'll go ahead and just pull this out here. We're going to go into the box directory, cp into scp, move this into here. Oh. Almost put it in the wrong place then. Cool, and then we should now be able to run this. Like so. -3, cool. Give that a second, and now we have the GMSA password. Cool. So what do we do with this? Well, we had the password, but actually what we want to go ahead and do is we want to basically we want to use the internal this internal PowerShell session we have to do the majority of the work for us. I'm going to go ahead and do, I think Exity has got a payload, all the things, has got a great Active Directory reference that tells exactly what you need to do. We go ahead and Control F for GMSA, maybe even dumper. Cool, yeah, this is the one we used before. We actually have here the Active Directory version, so I'm actually going to go ahead and follow this one. So I want to just showcase this so we can get the password with this one, but also we want to go ahead and use this one as well. I'm going to go ahead and copy this. We'll go ahead and put it into a mousepad and tweak accordingly. So we want to go ahead and update this to be the user, so the BIR user, which is here, like so. Grab that. Cool. That all looks fine to me. Cool. Although I don't want the I don't really care about the hash, so we can actually just get rid of this. We don't want that one. and we instead want to actually run a session as that user, basically as the BIR-ADFS-GMSA user. But one step at a time. We'll go ahead and just copy this. We'll go into our here. We'll go ahead and hit this. Yeah, well, we got an error. It didn't like that because we probably missed the $sign at the start. Cool, that looks like it has worked, or it's working. Cool, looks fine. We now go ahead and say echo MP. We can go ahead and see we have the current password. It's like basically stored in a format that only Microsoft can understand, but that's okay, cool. And then we want to go ahead and create a new credential, which we can then use going forward. I think it's new object system dot management dot automation dot ps credential. And then the name of the thing, so BIR-ADFS-GMSA $MP, and then the actual, like, see the basically the current password variable. So you then pass it into that, basically current password. Cool, and that should now work. Probably missed something here. I need to put a hyphen here. I think so. We'll see. I might have just typed something wrong. Let's see. New object system dot management automation dot ps credential. What did I get wrong? Let me just check my notes. I think I know I did wrong here, actually. I am using the wrong variable. I actually need to use the secure current password, not the current password. I think so. Cool, that looks like it worked. Okay, cool. So then we want to basically go ahead and invoke commands with that. So we can go invoke command. We have to basically refer to what computer we want to use. So computer. I can spell right, computer. Research. And then basically the code we want to run, so script block. And then the script block we want to run, so whatever. And then we want to go ahead and provide in the credential. Credential, and then the cred we want to use, cool. And we'll go ahead and then just basically say, like, who am I? And we are running as BIR-ADFS-GMSA. Let's go ahead and just add a few new lines in here. So currently I am running Sierra Fryer. Who am I? Sierra Fryer. If I go ahead and run this, I'm running as this user, BIR-ADFS-GMSA, which means I can basically invoke commands as this user. Now, if we go into our bloodhound, we can see here that once we've pwned this user, we have generic all access over this user, basically meaning we can do whatever we want to this user. Now, there's a few different ways you can do it here, like there's a whole list of different things you can do here. Personally, I find just basically updating the password the easiest, just basically compromising the account directly. It's not very stealthy, but hey, it works. So that's what we'll go ahead and do. We'll go ahead and basically just update the user's password across the domain. So net user, then the user's name, tristan.davies. And then the new password, we'll call it sub2secora. And then we'll put it across the whole domain, hit enter. That's now worked, cool. If we now go ahead into, say, crack map, and I'll go ahead and be like, tristan.davies, and then the password will be sub2secora. That should then work. I did sub3secora, not sub2secora. And that worked. Sweet. And then we can go ahead and actually run commands there as well. We can do like -x. Who am I? And we are Tristan Davies. Cool. And then off the back of that, we can then, of course, like pull down like the actual password. Like so. And I probably messed something up. See, users. Okay, that's okay. We will just work backwards and we'll go from there. I don't know what I messed up exactly. Oh, maybe because I'm using like a lowercase by what it is. Okay, cool. The users. Depends what directory we're in. Is that going to work? Yeah, we're getting slight delay, so it should work. Cool, cool. Fine, fine, fine. So administrator. And then we want to go into the desktop. Desktop. We use backslashes instead. And that should be good. Cool, yeah, because you root.txt, and we'll go ahead and change dir to be type, which will read the file. Hit enter, and we have the root.txt, probably. There we go, cool. And yes, we do. We'll go ahead and change this to user.txt, and we'll change this to be Sierra, so Sierra.pry, and we have probably the user as well. Sweet. So yes, we do. So yeah, hopefully you learned something. Hopefully you enjoyed. Sorry for the lack of delays recently, been super busy with work and stuff. Hopefully this video was helpful though. And if you enjoyed it, like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you next one. Take care, everyone.